Hello everyone, my name is Rachel, and an issue that I'm looking forward to discussing is fashion sustainability and workers' rights in relation to responsible consumption and production. I feel like this is such a huge issue with so many factors, including textile waste, workers' rights, overconsumption and water waste, and so much more. I want to talk about the responses that companies have made via social media and share the information that I have found that can ultimately help us save lives, empower lives, and connect lives in order for us to create a future society that is educated on these issues. I do strongly believe that an educated society is an eco-conscious and sustainably driven society, and one of the biggest factors that is affecting our environment and human rights is the fashion industry, in particular the normalizing of fast fashion. I feel that fast fashion has made us passive consumers. We'll see it, we'll like it, and we'll buy it. And because our social media platforms are full of advertisements, the rate that we're going to see something that we like and is catered to us skyrockets. Social media is actually becoming a big issue when it comes to consumerism. Trends come and go so fast that we don't even think about who is actually putting in the work to make these clothes. Because garments are still made by humans still, not machine. We have to keep in mind the human and environmental cost of fast fashion. Most of those pieces are cheap, poor quality, disposable, and don't last very long. Then we have to factor in tons of waste, water waste, and other environmental impacts when it comes to dyeing clothes and how overproduction has led to clothes not being recycled or donated and ending up in landfills. In Australia alone, people are dumping 15 tons of clothing and fabric waste every 10 minutes. Australians also buy an average of 27 kilograms of textiles each year, including leather and homewares, and then discard 23 kilograms of that into landfill, despite the fact that they are mostly non-biodegradable. So the majority of it will not be resold or given to another home, just thrown away. I feel that we need to utilize social media better for awareness and education on these issues rather than advertisements. And I feel like brands are able to do that on their own individual platforms. I feel personally passionate about this issue because I do own a small business where I create crochet bags and accessories. Although this is slow fashion, I am still contributing to the increase of consumerism. Because of this, I implement as many sustainable methods as possible and even created a podcast that talks upon sustainability and the fashion industry. I've increased transparency within my business by talking about the materials I use and sharing concern within the fashion industry on my social media pages. And that is what I ultimately think will better our society for the future, having brands and companies that are transparent in their manufacturing process and show that they are aiming to do better. Fast fashion is the issue here. I found a couple of articles and journals that will be useful to understanding why transparency is so important, and I'll put them on the screen here. Overconsumption is leading to our clothes being cheaper and made with chemicals that these workers are ultimately exposed to. The majority of fast fashion clothing is made of petroleum. Petroleum fibers are essentially like plastic. They are non-biodegradable. So if your clothing is made with polyester, acrylic, spandex, or nylon, for example, those are all petroleum-derived fabrics, which are incredibly harmful to our environment. And I'm sure that you can tell just by the touch of your clothing and the way that your pieces have lasted over time that fabrics such as polyester don't last very long. More than 60% of fabrics are now synthetic blends, meaning that they are non-biodegradable and harder to recycle. So imagine living in a world where we create products that are not only cheap and won't last you very long, but once they are no longer wearable, we can't even recycle them or give them properly back to the earth. Because that is the reality of the world that we're living in now. We are creating so much waste. So social media is actually particularly important in transparency within your business, as it can be used as a platform to connect with your followers and easily market your brand. I think that it would be important to talk about the Rana Plaza collapse in Bangladesh in 2013. I learned about this myself through social media, and it would be a great start for my team to understand why overconsumption is such an issue and how it is affecting real workers within the industry. This plaza hosted some incredibly popular brands that manufactured there, including Walmart and Primark. In April of 2013, the Rana Plaza building collapsed, killing 1,132 people and maiming more than 2,500 others. It also took less than 90 seconds for the 8-story building to collapse. This tragedy then became a symbol of the fashion industry's impact and need for sustainable reform. It shows the horrific impact of overconsumption and the conditions that workers are put in when they have endless garments to make. Dhaka, Bangladesh is one of the largest clothing producing cities in the world, with roughly 5,000 factories, with 80% of workers being women. Experts have actually concluded that the garment factory collapse was entirely preventable. In May of 2013, the Accord on Fire and Building Safety in Bangladesh was signed by 220 companies. More on the recent signing of the accords that I will share with my team can be found here, and I would hope to discuss with them the recent re-signing of the accords as it expired in July 2021. Rana Plaza demonstrated the impact of the fast fashion industry. When the focus is on rapid production, garment workers are forced to produce high quantities for Western brands, paying low rates for clothes that they will sell for cheap prices. The Accord was a great collaboration as companies got together for one issue. It was a legally binding agreement between brands and trade issues. Big name brands such as H&M, Tesco, Audi, Sportsgirl, Cotton On, and Kmart all signed. This collaboration ensures safety measures for all workers and has and will continue to prevent the danger of so many workers' lives. So how does social media come into play? As I said before, I was only made aware of the Rana Plaza and the Bangladesh Accord through social media, specifically Instagram. And when I create content regarding fashion sustainability, I create the most impact online, where I have followers who are interested in my content. To ensure sustainable consumption and production patterns, education needs to come first. I want to share with you on the screen a couple of brands and people who utilize social media to spread awareness on these issues. Some of these would include Patagonia, Everlane, and Reformation. As consumers, we vote with every dollar we spend or don't spend on clothing. All we need is education on these issues. I think I could bring forward to this collaboration process my understanding of the fashion industry and the sustainability movement, as well as incorporate what I know about social media and its impact. I think that social media will be able to help this issue, and I cannot wait to bring my ideas forward for this collaboration project. Thank you.